Okay, first coat of primer's on. Everything turned out pretty good. Once I got the primer on and got it looking all uniform, I could see where all the little gaps in the fibers were, and so I couldn't resist. I got out my Bondo and did a little bit of body filling and then used the excess to fill in a few low spots. Yeah, I'm not trying to make it look like a new car or anything, but what I'd really like to do is keep water from getting into those little spots. Well, I decided to go ahead and paint all that stuff. The lag bolts shouldn't be a problem because you don't have to put a wrench on them. These guys, of course, anything with a wrench head on them, the paint's going to come off as soon as you put the wrench on there. But and I decided to go ahead and paint these. Pretty sure these are just bare steel, so so I went ahead and cleaned them up, degreased them, primed them, and got a first coat of paint. So this stuff's all done. That stuff needs a second coat. Most of the nuts, I just they just have WD-40 on them now. I chased all the threads of everything with my little tap and die set. The bearings I bought, the internal diameters are too big around. Everything else is fine, but there's play in there, a lot of excess play when you put the shaft through. So I managed to take the old bearings apart, and I was able to get them freed up, actually. Even this one, this had the metal backing on one side and a rubber backing on the other. I got the rubber covers off, and I was able to work on them. And then one of them, I forget which one now, one of the larger ones also had a metal back on it, on one side. I did have to end up prying that off because otherwise it just was not going to get clean. But I think I managed to save it here, maybe. So here's the cover. Here's a little rubber seal that goes in the cover. I don't know if I should bother putting that back in, or if I should put the metal side in so it's protected and then not bother with the rubber cover. But the covers turned out good too. They all cleaned up nice. And then of course here's the idler pulley. So that turned out good. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll go ahead and use the old bearings. Well, not much to talk about here, but while the light is good, I just thought I'd show the first coat of black paint on the top. I've already done 2 coats on the inside. Probably can't see, but so yep, this will get just a little bit blacker. But yeah, sun's still out right now, so things always look better in direct sunlight, I think. Anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned it yet or not, but I got the engine mostly back together. I think I talked about that. I don't remember if I mentioned it, but the gas tank is seeping out the bottom somewhere. So I'm going to have to take that back off, and I discovered from watching a previous video that this plug, I routed it the wrong way, and in order to get to it I got to take the gas tank off But yeah, the top and the gas tank have to come off anyway to fix the gas tank. And it's not hard. And then, I don't know, somehow I ended up missing, I thought I had a bolt in there, but I hope I took it off. I hope it's one of the ones I've been fixing up, but yeah, that's missing. So, and, oh, this bolt I never actually tightened up. How did I miss that? Anyway, good to double check your work, huh? As far as the carburetor, I think what's going on based on the symptoms, when it's idling, it's hunting. I think that, my understanding is that happens because of a rich mixture, not a bad float bowl or float seat or anything like that. So I'm thinking it could just be when I adjust the fuel air mixture screw, that only affects the idle mixture, right? On most carbs, that's how it is. And then this little screw right here is the idle jet for the idle circuit, which is mostly involved in providing the fuel when it's on idle. When it's at full throttle, the main jet is like 95% of what's happening. So just for fun, I've ordered a new mixture screw and pilot jet. So they should be here in a few days, hopefully. And I think if that doesn't solve the problem with it hunting when it's idling, I think I'm gonna not worry about it too much, because I'm pretty sure, well, I'm pretty sure it's not rich when it's at full throttle. It doesn't act like there's anything wrong with it. And the air-fuel mixture screw isn't going to do any good at full throttle, because that is for the pilot, the idle mixture, right? Those are always for the idle mixture. And since this rarely idles when you're using it, it's probably not a big deal. What I will do though is I will keep an eye on the spark plug. Once I put this into service, I'll keep an eye on the spark plug, and if the spark plug starts to indicate a bad mixture ratio, I'll look into it further. But for now, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'll replace these two things. Don't even have to take the carburetor off to do that. Okay, light's fading, but second coat is on. I have just a tiny bit of paint left in case I need to do some touch-ups after assembly, but I'm thinking that it may dry out before that, so but that's okay. I'm pretty darn happy with the way this is now versus the way it was when I took it off the mower. So now it's time to work on the other stuff and get it all back together. Check this out. Getting the deck back together. The new blades went on perfect. I mostly know where stuff goes. Most of it only goes on one way, so if you just find that one way, why, that's most likely correct. So I still have a bunch of fasteners and washers, and I'm at the point now where I need to look at the blow-up diagram to see where everything else goes, because I'm not real sure. But here, let me flip it over and show you the other side. So here's the top. Yeah, all the big components went on, I mean, they only went on one way, so that wasn't too hard. So, got a lot of the slidey bits here. Oh, they're stuck right now because the pulleys aren't on, but yeah, I got that. The brake disengagement and belt engagement mechanism. Let's see, the idler pulley, ew, that's better. The idler pulley goes on here. These guys go on there. Okay, the lever, I think, grabs hold of this, not sure, but when you engage it, it releases the brakes and pulls the tensioner pulley there at the same time. So, and then when it's not engaged, these two springs hold the brakes up against the pulleys and stop the blades. So I just need to figure out, there's got to be like a spacer here before the nut goes on. And then, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that secures on there, if it's just a nut or if there's a washer. Yeah, I have a lot of washers left. So these guys were pretty easy. This one only went on here, that's it. That one will only go on this way. The belt guards were similarly obvious. Yeah, this guy was a little trickier, but especially because I took this off to get to that, which I didn't actually have to. Well, at the time I did, everything was rusted stuck, but now it works great. So everything, all the rusty stuff has a coating of WD-40 on it. I put some grease on these little slidey bits here so that the whole mechanism will move a little easier. Yeah, so what have I got left? Well, let's see, I've got this box of painted stuff. Here it is. Let's see, I think that's a new spark plug, got a spare gasket, a spare spacer for the back tire because they only came in groups of 2. This is the rubber gasket for the air cleaner, light bulb. But yeah, this stuff, all this stuff here, I'm not exactly sure where it all goes. It does hurt a little bit to put these rusty bits back on this nice mower deck, but the only reason I did the mower deck to this detail was because it was so bad. I needed to take all the rust off anyway to repair the bad spots, so it's like, well, you may as well do a good job, right? So, yep. Oh, I haven't done the chute yet, but I'll get to that eventually. Well, the diagram wasn't a whole lot of help. It didn't really show any washers on any of these things, so what I did is I went ahead and put those 2 washers on. This one fit perfect. This one was too thin, so I found a spacer to put underneath it. Now the pulley won't wobble. And yeah, got the belt on, so yeah, really the next step is to put this underneath the mower and attach it. But I'm kind of out of energy for 2 days, so I will save that for another day. Well, I got the mower deck all installed. It's all hooked up. Should work. Can't run the motor right now because there's no fuel, but I also rerouted the wire, the cable that was in the wrong spot. I found the shoulder bolt and the nut that hooks up that linkage that was missing. What else did I do? Well, obviously I took the top and the gas tank off because gas tank needs repair again. Let's see. Oh, the air cleaner assembly is back on temporarily. I will have to take it back off to replace that little, where'd it go? Oh, it's back there, that little brass pilot jet there. But I don't know, it may be a week before that shows up. But I'm going to replace that and this air fuel mixture screw. Funny enough, I had to find a bunch of extra parts because I was missing almost everything I needed to reattach this. Isn't that weird? This screw was the only one that was already there. Everything else I had to find, like in my stash of extra goodies. It's really weird. It's almost like I'm missing a box of fasteners somewhere. Let's see, that bolt there was loose, so I took that out and put one of the extra fender washers in there, and went ahead and put the other extra fender washer in there because all three of those mounting fastening spots on this black guy are cracked. So I might take that off and weld it someday, but not today. What else? So yeah, the mower deck goes up and down. That spring was a bear to get on, but definitely necessary because it's definitely acting as a counterforce to the weight of the mower deck, so you can easily pull that back up again. So yeah, that spring was crazy hard. Everything else went on just by hand. It's just washers and clips. Maybe somewhere, maybe I didn't get quite enough, like right in here or something like that. Anyway, I'll clean this whole thing and redo this. And then here's all the leftover bits that I can't account for. This would go under the mower deck, but I had 3 of these and I only needed 2, so I don't know where the extra one came from. And I looked at the blow-up diagrams and I couldn't find anywhere that needed fender bolts that didn't already have them. So anyway, I got some extra parts. Oh, I still have to do the grass chute. I think the next time I turn the camera on, this guy's going to be ready to try out. Oh, I do have to change the oil. Got to change the oil. Alright, that's all I got for now. I will come back hopefully when this thing is ready to put around on a little bit and maybe cut a little grass.